#1 producer of amazing ways to be able to give you power whenever you need it and wherever you need it. And I'm a 100% believer in this. I have a unit, we'll show you in a minute. It's actually up north. And then I just recently, about a week ago, bought another unit to make sure I have one down here because we never ever want to be without power. Funny enough, it just happened this last week and I posted about it a couple days ago. I was at home, perfectly sunny out, and all of a sudden everything in the house went ronk. And I looked around, perfectly sunny, no storms anywhere, and I lost power. And the first thing I thought was, oh, how long is it gonna be out? And I thought, oh my goodness, this is it. I posted it. So I was at home, perfectly sunny. Oh, thanks guys for finding that. I shot everything in my little place, and it was sunny as all get out. And we just lost power for no reason whatsoever. I don't even know why. And immediately I was like, oh my gosh, how long is the power gonna be out? Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Oh my gosh, how much stuff do I have frozen in my fridge I'm gonna have to throw out if it doesn't come back? About 2 days later, it came back a little bit later, but about 2 days later, they said, oh yeah, the power company was having weird outages in our neighborhood. I'm like, that is crazy. But that's exactly why you need this, because you don't know what's gonna happen or when it's gonna happen, and we always want to have power. It's really essential, and then even more essential when you're in that emergency situation. I'm gonna tell you what we got real quick. I'm gonna get Justin out here in just a sec. We're talking about the EcoFlow. It is our #1 bestseller here at HSN. It is a massive customer pick. We love the EcoFlow. You're in this configuration getting the EcoFlow, you're getting a solar panel to go with it, so you get both of those, and we give you an extension to go with it, a power extension to go with it as well. We've never done that until we did this version. So you're getting all of that with the solar panel, okay? Now that one's gonna be $699.99 versus $1,400. If you just want this without the solar panel, you can get that as well, and that is going to be, what is it, $599.99. Now, I will tell you, normally, what happens, our solar panels, if you do the math, they're about $175 a piece, so it just makes sense to go ahead and get it with the solar panel because you're not having to buy it an extra $107. Excuse me, Rocky, hang on one second. For an extra $100 as opposed to $175, you're gonna be able to get this in the configuration if you go for the one that's about $700. We'll get into a lot of details, but I gotta get Justin out here really quickly because he brings us all the EcoFlows, and I love him. He's very realistic about the needs that we have to have the EcoFlow in our home, and welcome back.
Yeah, I haven't seen that video before. Did that just happen?
It happened after you and I saw each other a couple days ago.
That's too funny.
I was standing at home, and then everything went down. You know when you hear the microwave go off, the fridge go off, the TV went off, you hear the air conditioning stop. The air conditioning has freaked me out the most. Oh, that is the worst part. And I did. I quickly grabbed my phone. I said, Justin's not gonna believe this. And I shot that video. Perfectly sunny out. No reason whatsoever, and I was completely without power.
It's funny how when you realize the silence of not having power, right? Yeah. And then you'll all appreciate this, right? It's sunny out and it's in Florida. Guess what? It's probably like 100 degrees outside, and all of a sudden you're thinking, oh man, thank God I had my EcoFlow, because if I didn't have my fan, like the simple things of how hot it would be in that house. Right. That's exactly why this has become such a popular product, but why is EcoFlow the #1 brand? You know, I keep saying it's the 6th-year anniversary. It's hard to believe it's been 6 years that we launched EcoFlow here at HSN, but 6 years fast forward, the #1 power brand here at HSN, #1 power brand in the United States. It's because of the value, it's the product, it's the value, but it's also just knowing that peace of mind. You have something now at home, you think about, oh my goodness, yeah, when is it gonna happen? I don't know, but if I can have that insurance policy like we were talking about before, to know that I have it there when I need it and I can use it. It's something when we talk about even comparing to gas generators and propane generators, you know, we did a show with Rebecca and she was talking about, you know, I have 2 children at home. If my husband had gotten a gas generator and he wasn't home, I'm not gonna use that thing.
Me neither.
But I know I would use my EcoFlow. So that's what I think, you know, these types of presentations, yeah, they're PSAs, but of course they are educational to start thinking about it, and definitely start thinking about it now.
I wanna go over here because the first thing everybody always says is, oh, come on, it's a little unit. I can literally carry this one around. My big unit up in Michigan is actually 100 pounds.
Yeah.
I can barely roll it, and only my husband can pick it up and physically move it. And so that is way too overwhelming for me. So I bought the second one because I wanted a smaller unit and I wanted to be able to move it around, and I wanted power wherever I'm at, right?
Yeah.
So I bought it for, so our second one is now gonna be delivered. It's gonna be for here. This is portable, which I love, but people look at it and say, it's so small. it's not going to power anything.
Yeah, well, I think that's where it really differentiates itself. You know, you have the one that's a full 100 pounds, going to power up a whole house. This is still going to do 90% of your home appliances, only weighs 20 pounds. But when it comes to the world of EcoFlow, we have two different models, well, kind of two different genres. We've got our River series and our Delta series. We're showing you kind of what it's going to power, but when you're looking at what it's going to power, I also want you to look at the numbers that are attached to that too. Do you see the time for a refrigerator? Do you see the time for a microwave or a blow dryer? And think about it, you've probably used nearly every single thing on that list right there today. But again, we're talking about size. When you start to differentiate, still powering 90%, but only weighs a little over 20 pounds. So it still is that best of both worlds of having portability, but still power. Talk about simplicity. One touch of a button, that's it. Now, what are you looking at right now? Well, you're looking at that digital display. We already have that light and the fan plugged in, and it's actually telling you the amount of wattage that it's pulling, the percentage that we have, and it's going to actually calculate, that's not minutes, that's hours. So with a light and a fan, so yeah, it's sunny out, but at least I know I've got my fan if I was to unplug, you know, my light. So 16 hours, that'll absolutely get me through the whole entire day. And then I still have all these ports right here where I can plug my phones in so I can recharge, have communication, have entertainment. We have two fast charge USB-A, two fast charging USB-A right here, two fast charging USB-C, and on the very back, this is the Delta 2. So what does the Delta 2 mean? Well, of course, that means it's the second iteration of our Delta 1300. That was the most popular size. On our original model, we did not have these two 3-prong AC outlets we do now, but think about that. You got 6 AC outlets right here on the back. You also have that DC port. And I know when we were doing these before, Suzanne, you know, the thing that I think a lot of people loved when we talked about it is the fact that this is not old technology. This is the newest version that we have. This is what we call our LFP series. So this is our LFP battery, meaning this isn't like the 6-year-old version of our batteries. This is the latest and greatest. We have something that's called life cycles. When you recharge your phone, it's a life cycle, right? At night, you plug it in. On our original EcoFlows, we had roughly about 300 life cycles. On this one, your Delta 2, you don't have 600, 900, 1200, you have 3,000 life cycles with your EcoFlow, meaning if you were to recharge this once a day, you could do it at a minimum for 10 years. So we don't back it.
And I want you clarify that more. He means take it from 100% to 0 every single day for 10 years.
For 10 years.
And it comes with a 5-year warranty, but it's going to last way past that.
Oh, yeah.
Now, nobody's going to use it necessarily 0 or 100 to 0 every single day straight for 10 years. So imagine how long this really will last. And that's why we invested in it, too.
Yeah.
I was slipping a side note, too. My husband and I both, we really did want a power source, right? And so my husband's really good at research. And I said, well, look at EcoFlow because I'm going to go online. I'm going to look at everything else. And he did. He really researched it. Then he came back and he said, do you know, you're right. He goes, EcoFlow is the very best that I've seen. And that's why we bought our first one. Again, 100 pounds. It's part of their Pro Series. I recently, about maybe 2 weeks ago, bought my second one because wherever we are, I want power. The 100-pound one, and you're going to see it, we actually have it on Facebook too, it stays up there. It's not going.
Yeah,
it is not portable. That baby is staying pretty much in one place. My new one I just picked up, I can use it here at home, but also I can use it for fun.
Yeah.
I could do the movie night out in the backyard where I have no power. You know, I could take it to the class reunion and we're out at a picnic place and use a microphone.
You're going to your reunions?
I do go.
Do you?
Yeah, I go once every couple years. I love it. Do you go to your class reunion?
I haven't been, no.
You haven't?
I gotta go.
We had a really close class.
I gotta go.
Some of my besties are still there.
That's
so
awesome.
I love it. But anyway, so, you know, it's the fun stuff too.
Yeah.
And now the new size allows me to have more fun with my EcoFlow versus my other one.
And that's exactly why originally, you know, I kind of touched on it, but the Delta 1300 was one of the first models that we launched here at HSN. It went on to be the most popular for years because of the size. And it's really, this is the second iteration. So newer battery, lasting longer, charging faster. But really, when we think about just the physical aspect of it, knowing that you have the best of both worlds, you've got portability, but you now have the power. So in a form factor like this, you know, on one of the River series, it's roughly about 80% of your home appliances that you can charge. This will do 90%. So let's show you even some more. So I do have the full-size microwave back here, excuse me, full-size refrigerator. I want you to see this. You know, in a pinch, if we needed to, I can go back here, plug in my full-size refrigerator, and now I've got power to a full-size refrigerator and full-size freezer. And we think about it, yeah, that thunder hits, that lightning, and you know, you had a beautiful day out, and all of a sudden the power, you just don't know when all of a sudden that anxiety hits, when the thunder strikes. It could be in the middle of the night right now. Wouldn't you think about the first thing is food and water, and how long is the power going to be out for? You can't leave the grocery store without spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars. If you have many mouths to feed in the house, this is the first thing that you're thinking, is making sure that we keep all of that food cold. But here's the other thing. We bring these lights back up. I want to go over to the microwave because I want you to see this. You know, it's one thing to just sit here and say, well, you know, we can definitely have our food cool. But when it takes it to the next level, it's about having these high wattage appliances. Your Delta 2 can go up to 2,200 watts, which is insane, right? So when we start to really even compare, again, numbers to numbers, apples to apples, with going directly at a propane generator, a gas generator. What did we just do? Well, I'll tell you what we didn't do. We didn't go outside to the garage, have to grab a greasy, gassy generator, make sure we have gasoline, bring it 20 feet away from our home, and then have an extension cord all the way inside, make sure that it ran. You don't have to worry about any of that. We're literally running everything inside of our home with something that weighs a little over 20 pounds on our kitchen island, running a full-size microwave, lights, fans, and a refrigerator.
A fridge, yeah. All out of this little unit, guys. And again, I can pick this up. I can move it around. I can take it room to room. You could put it in the car in emergency. A lot of people, when they're traveling, trying to get away, we do that a lot down here from an area, will take their EcoFlow, they put it in the car, because you just never know when you're gonna need power, and it's always at the most inconvenient times. It was shocking to me, midday sunny, when the power went out, and I talk about that moment of just despair when you realize you've lost power.
Yeah.
And if you guys go to my Facebook page or Instagram, you can actually see exactly that moment. I went and grabbed my phone because it was so funny. You and I had just been on like 24 hours earlier. And you never expect it in a sunny day. No bad weather, nothing was happening. And then all of a sudden the house got dead quiet. And I went, good Lord, no fridge, no air conditioning. And I kept thinking, oh, we're 2 hours in, my little place is gonna be smoking hot. And I just kept thinking, I don't know why it's out. I couldn't do anything. I was just frozen, actually. It was really kind of weird. But you get that horrible feeling. Now multiply that by more hours, multiply that by more days, multiply that potentially by weeks, especially if you've really gotten hard hit. That's when you really are happy that you've invested in it. Think about, you've done this before. Down here in Florida, we lose power for a long period of time. If your fridge goes bad, how many hundreds of dollars have you thrown out of that fridge? Just think of the meat in the freezer. It could be potentially a couple times paying for this, just one time of clearing out that freezer of all that expensive meat.
You know, when we had, I can't remember which hurricane it was. First thing that we did was we ran over to the grocery store. It was a madhouse. Everybody was doing the same exact thing. We knew the hurricane was coming. Mass anxiety. Everybody can just feel it. We got $300–400 worth of groceries because we're like, all right, well, we have everything. We throw it in the refrigerator. We had to leave because we were in the flood zone. Okay, but here's the next part where you're like, okay, well, yeah, you had your power, you had to leave. Two things. I grabbed a whole bunch of EcoFlows, we put it in the car, and then we went to the family's house on the East Coast. The other thing was I still used my EcoFlow because I plugged my EcoFlow into the refrigerator with all the food that I had in there. So as soon as we lost power, the EcoFlow kicked in and continued to keep the refrigerator cool. So you're like, well, there's so many different use cases. You hear about them all the time. We hear about them from you, our customers, in the reviews. But I think, you know, we have our own experiences. When you realize when you have it and you have it at home and all of a sudden you really practice what you preach in those situations, you realize how important it is to truly have something like this at home.
And for me, it's like an insurance policy, except think I can use all the time. Insurance policy, we pay and pay and pay and hope we never have to use it. Well, at least this can do the fun stuff too. That's what I kind of like about it.
Exactly.
Because, you know, you're paying insurance to have that peace of mind that you know you can get your house replaced, you can get your stuff replaced, right? It's the same thing with having the EcoFlow, but you actually can use this a whole lot more for really fun and cool things that you wouldn't expect. I know we have more demos to do. I'd love you to go to the bedroom. I'm going to stop in the mid place because there's other things you really have to consider. Why do you need the EcoFlow? Why is it so important? Now, here's what we're doing. You can get just the EcoFlow itself if you'd like to, but for less than the cost of buying an extra solar panel for it, get the one with the solar panel. The one without is the most limited, but it's, to me, so much smarter to have the solar panel, because then guess what you have? Continuous power. And I know Justin will explain that in just a second. What are we doing? We have 18-month VIP financing, which is awesome. So you want to whip out your HSN card. If you're getting the one with the solar panel and the power extension, that's going to be $38.88 over the next year and a half. Now here's what's really fun. If you pay that off, you're using your HSN card, by a year and a half, we will charge you no monthly interest on that. That's unheard of in the credit card world. But if you'd like to use it on the EcoFlow in a year and a half, you will get no extra interest charged. If you want to open your card, you can, that's great. If you want to use it and get this with it right now on that first purchase, you're going to save $40, which is even more savings. Also tonight, we have 5 Flex if you want to use a regular credit card, and we have free shipping and handling. And trust me, this isn't a light box of earrings, okay guys? This is a nice big heavy box. I'm anxious to get mine, my second one. And so you really love it when it's on that free S&H. By the way, if you want to get just the solar panels or you want additional solar panels, we have a 2-pack of 220 watts each that you can use on this. And Justin, again, will explain why that's important. Remember,